So I actually found some videos online today of some pretty important YouTubers talking about the sudden loss of their mom or dad. I watched quite a few, including Candy Johnson. And it further, it drove me to definitely make more of these videos that I've been making. And I know that I'm nobody. I know that Candy Johnson is, a YouTuber, and so are some of the other people, but what I know is that I drive around for work, and I drove around listening to these people's stories, and there was playlists of videos about losing a parent and what those moments were like, and I felt, and I say always, for 3 weeks, I have felt better when I'm in the company or when I'm near a person, speaking to a person that understands what I'm going through. Being consoled by someone that doesn't understand isn't the same as being consoled or, discussing the nature of the events with someone who does. And so, I'm gonna keep making these videos, and I just wanted to throw up one more that was a little better done, I guess, a little more professional seeming. I don't know what to call it, but a little bit of backstory about my mom. My mom and I are best friends. We always have been. It's always just been me and my mom. My little brother came when I was 8 years old, and he ended up, my mom and my stepdad divorced, and he spent half time with his mom, or our mom, and time with his dad. So there was a lot of time where it was just me and my mom. And God, we went through it. I mean, I was tough. She was tough. We were crazy as hell. And, we fought through my teenage years, but we're still close. And I still respected her for the most part. I was semi-rebellious. But as an adult, God, my mom and I were just so close. She was my biggest fan, my number one fan on the planet. It didn't matter if other people expected me to push a little harder, do a little more, do a little better. My mom was always so proud of me, and it was like she wanted to think, or I don't even know how to say this, but it's like she wanted to say, I made you, I did this, like I helped get you to this point, but she was like so afraid of taking credit for the adult that I am. And I did tell her multiple times, like, yes, you created an open-minded, rational, logical child who is compassionate and caring, but also honest. And that was our biggest problem, is that I was a little more honest about some things than she would. She always told me to temper everything with love, and I don't know that I always did that, but I know I always will moving forward. It was a Monday 3 weeks ago. I was at home. I just got home. I had been on a work call, and my grandfather called me, and then my mom's husband called me twice. And just like everybody says, like, you just know. And my family usually goes through the whole thing of, are you sitting down? Where are you? Where's, they kept, they would have or did ask, where's Danielle? Are you alone? All this shit. And you're just like, get on with it. Who is it? What happened? Who's hurt? Who died? And I took the call from my mom's husband over my grandfather because of the way the calls came in. And he just said, Taylor, I have some bad news. Your mom's dead. And I was standing in my apartment, and it was the most chilling moment. You want to ask all these questions, but you can't. And so you just say something like over and over. And I just kept saying, what the fuck are you talking about? What's going on? And I feel like in this moment, my mom's passing is more real to me than in that moment. Like I've said in the other videos, like, my mom, my mom wanted us to come to Colorado. She thought it was a good idea. And she wanted us to get out of Jacksonville, Florida, and do something with our lives, my wife and I. And actually, she wanted my brother to move here too, my little brother. But your biggest fear is that something is going to happen to your parent and you're going to be on the other side of the country, and that was realized in that moment. So you're shuffling to figure out, do I call work? Do I book a flight? What do I do? When is everything going to happen? I have to get there right now. All I wanted to do was teleport home. I just wanted to be with my family. I just wanted to see my mom. I wanted to touch her things. And I just wanted to go. My wife wasn't home. So I think some of my family had started calling her. I called her immediately. She rushed home to be with me. She was just as upset as I was. And we booked a flight that night for Wednesday morning. And we got a ride from Colorado Springs to Denver. And we flew straight home. And, we got home and we went to my mom's house. And just like other people have said, you just want to feel close. So you're touching all of her things and you're just smelling all of the smells and you're just wanting to find a little bit of peace. And I think I've said that these things in my random car videos, but I wanted to go through it a little more chronologically. So my mom passed Monday. We arrived Wednesday afternoon and went through her things. All of my family arrived. All of the out-of-town family arrived Thursday. We went to the funeral home Friday. We planned a beautiful burial for my mother, $15,000 funeral. We got a platinum casket. She always was very fancy. I'll insert a picture if I can get to the editing part. But she always loved her silver jewelry and turquoise and red. Like, this is all of her things. And we got a platinum casket. Her husband is a painter, and he painted a beautiful pinstripe version of her name. And my wife and I did her makeup. And like another YouTuber said, it's a final honor. When my mom was visiting us in February, I sat at this vanity and I did her makeup, and she played in all of my things and was just like so in love with all of the makeup that I have and just so excited to be in it. And we went Saturday and did her makeup. My brother eventually came and we wanted her to look like she looked in real life, and I think we accomplished that. We had her viewing Sunday. It was beautiful. Lots of people came. I was impressed with the amount of people that came. The funeral was a week to the day later. It was that Monday, and she was laid to her final rest Monday. Standing room only at her funeral. Over 150 people came. And, I just feel like if she was there, she would have been really impressed with how well everything turned out. We picked out, my wife spent 8 hours going through music, picking out playlists. We went through pictures, and they had the slideshow going. And, I mean, it was as beautiful as it can be. But it's hard to feel like it's real. It's hard to feel, her absence is daunting and draining and exhausting, and I have all of her things, all of these things of hers and these memories, and it's just absolutely daunting. And I just want other people to see this video, if they find it or stumble across it, and understand that the first few weeks so far, that's all I can tell you about, they're fucking miserable. And that's okay. Like, if that's where you're at right now, that's okay. And I don't know what else to really say at this point. Just that you're not alone. There's tons of us. A very good friend of mine, her mom died very young, suddenly the exact same day mine did. A friend of my wife's mom died a week after my mom. She was only 47 years old. Sudden, no answers. They still don't know what happened. So there is a community of us that are brokenhearted, searching to find some peace. And I do find it on YouTube a little bit. I find hearing other people talk about how amazing their parent was and how connected they are to their parents' belongings and all of these things that you don't know if it's healthy or unhealthy that you're doing and thinking and feeling, wishing it would have been anyone but your mom. Why my mom? Why now? She's gonna miss my wedding. She's gonna miss all of these things. We were actually in the middle of planning my wedding. And my wife and I got married on paper, legally married here. My mom and her mom were the only ones that knew. And that was literally 10 days before, or like 12, 14 days before my mom passed. And I think to myself every day, like, I'm so glad we did that. My mom was so glad that we had each other and we were legally married here, and if anything happened, that we had each other on paper and we wouldn't have to worry about getting family here to make any decisions, and that we were legally married. And it was a random thing that we decided to do. We've been planning our wedding for months, and my mom was the one that was like going to venues and looking at dresses. She was supposed to come to Colorado and look at dresses 2 days before she passed, and we ended up saying, well, I'm just going to come to Florida in November. We're going to do a Thanksgiving and look at dresses then. That was the last conversation that we had. So, I'm thinking about how am I going to have a wedding without my mom? And that feeling is so miserable. It's so heavy. It sucks, like thinking, how can I do that without her there? She was my main wedding go-to person, and my wife and I's biggest fan, and she's been, the day that I was in 9th grade and my mom picked Danielle up from school and brought her to my house and was like, what the hell's going on with you two, We were freshmen. My mom and Danielle have had a relationship since we were 14 years old. She's been by our side as a couple through a lot of shit in the last 13 years. And to marry her without my mom there, it's like, how? I can't. I don't feel like it would even be a happy day. I feel like it would be the worst fucking day. And, so as I'm having this emotional breakdown, I think it's good that other people see you break down. I think it's good that other people can find solace in knowing that they're not alone, because you're not alone. If you're going through something while you're watching this video, 5 million other people are going through it. And if you find this video 4 years from now, I may still be going through it. So I'm going to keep doing this, whether people watch these videos or not. Because seeing other people's videos helps me. And in moments of silence or being by myself, I turn to those stories. And I laugh at the things that they laugh at, and I cry at the things that they cry at, because not everyone around me understands me. Not everyone around me has those same terrible feelings, and you're masking it, whether you realize it or not. So when I sit here in my room alone and I listen to other people talk about the day that they lost their mom, and they're my age, they're in their 20s, their 30s, they're young, and I get it. I get it. So I hope this helped, if you found it and this is what you were looking for. And I hope there's more videos behind this one. I hope I can make myself keep doing this. So,